going to show you a really quick, simple and delicious recipe, and this can be made the same time it takes to cook some baby potatoes. So we're using a prime cut, and this is the lamb chops we're using. We have a French trim rack of lamb, and this is a beautiful recipe that can be cooked in the barbecue and also pan fried. Absolutely delicious. But you can use steaks for this, you know, some really nice prime cuts of steaks, and also some pork chops and lamb chops. So this is the rack of lamb which has been trimmed, and what you can do is you can just put this in the barbecue and lift it up and pass it around. It should be fun when you're eating this. So we're going to marinate our lamb chops in a little drizzle of olive oil, just over the chops, and then some thyme. You can use rosemary, you can use sage, but thyme is lovely. Just get a couple of little sprigs, and you don't have to cut them too small, because the beauty about this is that if you want to use garlic, you can just cut the cloves of garlic in half, and then you can just take them off. Because if you're cooking this in the barbecue, then you know the thyme will burn, and also the garlic can burn, so you don't want to do that. But the whole thing is that you get a lovely flavour coming through onto the meat. And you can leave this just for about maybe a couple of minutes just before it goes on to your pan. A little sprinkle of sea salt and some black pepper. Now, you can cover that if you want it, but I'm going to cook that in a few minutes. So, a very simple salad we're going to make using some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to blanch off some green beans. So what I've done with the green beans, I've just cut them in half, just at an angle, and we're going to cook them in a saucepan of boiling water. Now this is the best way of cooking green vegetables like broccoli, you know, green beans, munge too, whatever vegetables are in season. So you cook it really fast in some boiling water, just a pinch of salt, and this technique is known as to blanch. So it goes in there 2 or 3 minutes. Then what we'll do is strain it and run some cold water so we refresh it. For our dressing, we're going to chop some hazelnuts. We've toasted them onto the grill. We simply put them into a tea towel and remove the skin. Just take your time because they'll go all over the place when you're doing this. Chop these in half. We don't want them too fine. I have some already done, so we just simply put them into the bowl. And these are going to go in at the last minute, because if you put them into the salad too quickly, what will happen is they'll go really soft, and we want them nice and crisp. So for what we've done, just cut some cherry tomatoes in half. We're going to put in 2 spoonfuls of vinegar, and this is just some nice cider vinegar. 2 spoonfuls of olive oil into this, and then 1 teaspoonful of whole grain mustard. Just give this a good mix around, so just to combine all the ingredients. Now, we just want to check on our green beans. We're going to lift them off, and just be careful when you're doing this. Just bring it over to the sink and strain off the excess water. Now, we're going to refresh. So this means just running some cold water over the green beans. This keeps the nutrients, keeps the colour, and a lot of the goodness in. Drain them off. If you put them in too soon, kind of make the tomatoes go a little bit limp, and then into the bowl. So there's lots of colour, flavour and texture. Give it a little mix. Just cover that in cling film. You can keep that for a little while. So there's lovely colour and texture there. So we're going to cook our lamb chops. Now we're using the Board B quality assured lamb. You know, and our lamb is fabulous in Ireland. We have the best lamb, grass-fed. A little bit of oil in the pan. So this is the secret, you know, whether you're doing this in a barbecue or whether you're doing this in a hot pan. A little bit of oil on it, okay? Seal it off. So place it on the pan. With the same technique if you're cooking steak, pork. Now these will take about 3 minutes on either side. As soon as it hits the pan, it'll begin to seal in the outside. That's exactly what we want. So it's very important when you're cooking this is to bring your meat to room temperature. You get a better flavour coming out of the meat. You cook these for 3 minutes on either side. I'm going to serve them nice and pink. So while they're cooking, I can make the dressing. And this is just a really nice, tasty dressing. Now I'm just going to sprinkle the hazelnuts just into my salad. All of them in there. So don't be tempted to do that too soon, or the hazelnuts will go soft. They look great and smell lovely. And when you toast them, they're absolutely beautiful. So for our dressing for this, we use 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So we're going to grate the zest of 1 lemon. So sit the little grater on top of the bowl. And this will work really well with the lamb, this lovely dressing and of course the salad. So the juice of half a lemon, squeeze it into your olive oil with the rind, some chopped flat leaf parsley, which we just chopped coarsely, and then 1 clove of garlic, which we just peeled. We're going to crush this into our dressing here. And then a pinch of salt and some black pepper in here. and then a little bit of fresh thyme. And this will really just reinforce the beautiful flavour of the lamb, and it's nice and subtle. The lamb has such a beautiful flavour on its own. Now, give that a mix. Turn the chops. They're lovely and golden brown. Kind of caramelise a bit on the outside, and that's exactly what you want. Now, if you were to cook these in a barbecue, make sure that there's no black in the coals if you're doing the charcoals, that there's a grey ash, and that'll stop things from burning and, of course, catching on it. And when you put it on, just let it sit on the barbecue. Don't be tempted to turn it too quick, because it will stick a little bit, you know. But when it's ready, it'll pop up, and then you just turn it over. Same technique for pan frying. It must go onto a hot pan. So our dressing is ready, and our salad is done. And don't be tempted also, when you're cooking any meat on a barbecue or on a pan, to put a knife into the centre. You want to make sure that it's cooked, because all the beautiful juices will run out. So that's very, very important. Just press the centre. So we're going to cook these slightly pink, my favourite way of eating lamb. If you were using lamb leg steaks, they take a little bit longer to cook, 5 to 6 minutes on either side. Also with pork chops, 6 to 7 minutes. It really depends on the thickness of the pork, but they all work beautiful pan-fried or on a barbecue. Now, we're ready to serve. So I'm going to serve 2 chops for a serving. I'm going to put 2 on a separate plate and just let that rest. So, our salad first of all, and this is with the cherry tomatoes, the green beans, and the hazelnuts. And then our star of the show, the lovely lamb chops. And our dressing. This will complement the lamb. Drizzle over it. And some baby new potatoes. Just be careful lifting them off. We just arranged 2 or 3 on the plate. And there you have it. An absolutely quick, simple and delicious lamb chops with the green bean, tomato and hazelnut salad. Check out the full recipe on boardba.ie. For a tasty dinner, try marinating pork chops with olive oil, orange juice and rind, mustard, freshly chopped rosemary and some seasoning. Pan fry for 10 to 12 minutes until tender and serve with a lightly dressed mixed salad and a fluffy jacket potato. Remember, the Board BA Quality Assurance Scheme standards apply across the food chain at farm and processor level.